Right, guys, and welcome back. This is Above Average FPL. My name is Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. How are you doing this evening, mate?
I am good, mate. I am good. Oh, I just remembered because I'll forget this if I don't say this right now. I wanted to say happy birthday to our friend Ivan's daughter, Lily. She is 10 today and the greatest FPL manager I know. Honestly, she's ridiculous. And no surprise, she kept Salah, had Gabriel and Saka today.
What?
She is a monster. 10 years old, Lily. Ridiculous.
Madness. I hope she doesn't watch us, though, because we should come with the language parental guidance.
Well, that's why I thought I'd say it now, and then it's done. Then Ivan can say, "See you later. Well done, Lily."
Yeah. Cool. And we are joined Thankfully, we've got a 1-day loan deal from Who Got the Assist, and we're very happy to welcome Lucy Hynett onto the podcast. How are you doing, Lucy?
I'm all right, thank you. Much better for being here than watching Southampton or even Leeds Spurs. So yeah, good and looking forward to chatting. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. We're obviously live. We're live on YouTube, so hello to everybody in the YouTube chat. You're all there's lots of chat going on. There's loads of you in there, more than 60 of you in there now. If you do like what you see today, then make sure you do hit that like button. And if you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. Simple as that. Really, really simple. I did want to say a big shout out because I hadn't done this yet, and I said I was going to do it like 3 or 4 times. But a massive shout out to all of our patrons as well. So a shout out to these guys. So Rice said Fred, Crypto Block Dan, good man. Stephen Wilkinson, Richard Meller, Dan Barnes, Jonathan Cohen, Daniel Locke, and Simon Walker. Thank you very much for supporting the podcast. We really appreciate it. And if anybody else wants to support us in that way, patreon.com/above average FPL. Cool. We normally get that out of the way. When we've got a guest on, we get the plugs out of the way nice and early so we can just crack on and get on with the football stuff. So where shall we start?
Anything happened this weekend?
What were you guys doing yesterday at 1:10?
Spamming the app.
Spamming Instagram. Just trying to get shit done. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Let's talk about it.
Do we have to? Yeah, all right. I just can't believe it's happened again. Like every time it happens, I'm like, well, this time they'll sort their servers out. And they never do. And it happened again. And I kind of like planned around it in the end because I realized that I wanted to basically do the double switch of KDB and Alvarez in for Foden and Haaland. I tried that like a gazillion times. It didn't work. I tried downloading the official app, which I don't normally use. That didn't work either. And then I realized that I wasn't really going to be able to get the captaincy done and the transfer done. Like the odds of getting both moves through seemed pretty remote. And as I was going to take a hit, if I can't get the captaincy changed, it didn't seem like it would pay off. So I actually ended up just ripping that apart and just doing a really boring Foden to Rashford move, which didn't really pay off, it has to be said. Just because, yeah, you just end up working around the madness to try and get something done. And I didn't actually think I'd got it done even then. It just happened that when the game updated, I had somehow miraculously done it. It didn't ever confirm it, but it just happened for some reason.
What I don't understand it's the biggest football fantasy game in the world, like, and it's not even the biggest fantasy game in the world, like not even close. If you compare it to like the NFL game, they have
60 million,
something like that,
just in America and Canada.
Just yeah, which they can navigate with changes up to kickoff of every single game,
and then continuously through the game week because of the games are staggered, so you can keep taking players in and out as the games. So if they're not played, you can still take them out for your bench.
Yeah. So I just don't. What I hate about it even more so is that they never acknowledge it. They never come out.
They've made jokes, don't they?
Yeah,
it's even funny.
Just taking the piss. Just literally like, well,
no
sorry,
apology.
Guys. Well, not even sorry. Yeah, exactly. No apology whatsoever.
It's a joke. And it is ridiculous to plan. And next week we've got City early again.
Yeah, fuck's sake.
I think not trying to excuse it, but I think we all knew that we needed to make transfers earlier. I think the problem is then that then made chaos for like 24 hours beforehand. I mean, I start playing through all the ridiculous things that we do, but we don't just watch press conferences or listen to, there's a tweet that says something and you're like, I need to see the context of that. So then I'm going to go and YouTube it so that I can see how he said it and how he looked when he did it, just in case that's right or not. The whole thing is nonsense in the first place. And then we're like, well, this is going to go down. And then as soon as Team News and Ticks like says it's coming out at 110, it's ridiculous. I would say it worked okay for me. The one thing I have noticed is that the app is better, especially the iOS app. I would go and check if you're not on iOS. FPL Salah mentioned about some kind of third-party app like
No, I used that.
or something like that.
Yeah, I used that. It wasn't working at all.
So
I
FFM,
actually
iPhone.
abandoned that.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but the iOS one definitely seems to be okay. Then I literally had plugged into my phone what the move was and pressed next step. So all I had to do was press confirm on the assumption that Foden and Haaland was going to be benched. I was like, I'll take a guess, put it there, put that what I'm going to do in that case, which is going to be Salah to KDB, which was great. And then literally as soon as I saw it, I just pressed confirm. And then as soon as I pressed confirm, I wasn't really thinking about the transfers. No, I was like, I don't really want to get rid of Salah, but this seemed like the one I'll definitely get through. So I did it and it was like, yeah, done. Then I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I've still got Haaland Vice. What if this isn't true? So maybe I should. And by the time I then tried to change Vice, couldn't do nothing. So even then it was, and it's like, that isn't right. The fact that nobody could do anything for 20 minutes, the fact that we're all mucking around waiting for team leaks and do all those things, and whole thing's a shambles. Yeah. So you either have to change the game or change the infrastructure to be able to support the game.
Yeah.
But you can't not have, if you've got that's what it is, at the very least, you have to have the infrastructure to support what your mechanism is. We have all had conversations over the last 2 days about why the game should change and how it should move and all those things. And, I think it should just be open the whole time. Like, I don't even get, why does it refresh for 45 minutes?
Yeah. No idea.
People making transfers all week.
That would reduce the pressure on the server because there wouldn't be like a 10-minute spell where everyone's trying to do something. There would be the hour of the team sheets being available and everyone just being a bit more chill about what they do. Whereas at the moment, it's just as soon as a leak happens, it's just madness.
As long as you can make transfers elsewhere in the game week, I think that's true. And I to be honest, I said this yesterday to a friend of mine. I was like, if they make it at kickoff for the first game, then that should ease the pressure. But the problem is you've got probably 50 to 100,000 managers that are on the button with these team leaks. And that includes anyone that's basically waiting for somebody in Andy's stream or whatever, or a Raptor or Focal or Mate or whatever. And that's fine. So let's call it 100,000 managers, and it can't deal with 100,000 in 20 minutes. If let's say you've got 3 million out of 10 active managers, if they get the full hour, then people are going to wait on their transfers. And that's also going to impact transfer activity during the week because you're just not going to bother making a transfer during the week. Price rises will be a thing of the past in some respects, which I don't know. I guess some people could be happy with that, actually. But yeah,
it's just all nonsense. They can't do that. Ragabolly can tell me within 5 minutes of what the ownership in the top 10K is for every player of the game refreshing. Like, you can do things really quickly. That top 10K statistics tweets out within literally a couple of seconds of it updating. Oh, here you go. These are what the ownerships are for these people and who's captain. Like, it's a joke that it takes 45 minutes to update the game. Which is one of the reasons you think, oh, well, we couldn't bring it further forward because you wouldn't get it. You're like, oh, what if they did, like, people are making transfers all week. What if they did it that there was a dead hour every single day during the week? That wouldn't cause anyone any issues.
Yeah.
There's so many different solutions that are better than what we've got, and it's bad that we're going into this, and it's bad that nobody's putting their hand up to say we're even looking into it. Just even look, we accept it and we're even looking into it, but they just don't give a shit.
The refresh thing, like for me, it just doesn't feel like it makes any difference. Like, the only people that care about the refresh and the ownership and all that are us, right?
Yeah.
Like, it makes no difference what happens in the game week at all. Zero. Like, they could literally shut down the app until the final whistle of the final game, and it wouldn't make a difference.
No, but the reason why the refresh is important is it used to be that was the time they had and it forced the time of the deadline. So the time was an hour before because they then had that hour to update the game ready for the start the game opening. So they're using that as an excuse as to why they don't put the deadline dead at 3 o'clock, because they could just do it, couldn't they? And then we don't know what our live score is for the first half of the first game, which is, like you say, it's nonsensical.
Yeah.
But when I'm playing NFL, like right now, I was watching Red Zone earlier. I have to turn off the notifications on my phone because that game tells me a touchdown before it turns up on the TV. So when you're doing that, you're like, this isn't right. I'm watching this and it's updating quicker than the telly, and this thing can't do nothing.
Yeah, mad.
We live in a crap world. But so then the City game plays out. Should we?
Well, I thought we were going to have a look at our results then for this week.
Yeah, okay.
Just very quickly, let's just take a couple of minutes to do that. So I've seemed to have defaulted on you, Baker. So
good. What did you say? I'm 57.
Yeah, 57. Because you got Gahey coming in as an auto sub for Mitrovic.
I just like treacle, just trying to trudge through from my 2 weeks of glory about 6 weeks ago, where I went from 200k to 4k, and now I'm like just eking up. But if I get in out of game week 16, the top 100k, I'm over the moon. You know, that would have been fantastic. But at the moment, it just feels like feels like every move I do doesn't work out. Like Salah to De Bruyne this week, Wilson out 2 weeks ago. The only good part for me this week was that if Foden was starting, I probably would have gone Zaha to Foden. But who knows what would have happened if Foden had played and Cancelo ain't got sent off and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Can't play these things out.
Fair enough.
But yeah. Zaha, the hero of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the one bit of luck of all of the madness that happened for the City game, was that I did end up keeping him. So I can't complain too much, I guess. I was just saying that 59 points just means that I've got a fifth consecutive score in the 50s and the fifth consecutive red arrow. So it's not great. I am feeling the same as you in terms of like, it's just drudgery at this point. I just want it to be over so that we can get to the World Cup and not think about fantasy football for a bit, actually. But yeah, it's not great. It's not a disaster either. I know there are several people this week that had like absolute disasters where they, got rid of big points and bought in what they thought was going to be a really good edge this week. It's just not happened. Like people like Wilson, who are really popular, just didn't happen. So yeah, one of those things really. I could see Adam pointing to himself, as I said, taking out loads of points. Do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll pull my team up there. There we go.
Did you look at your live rank once you'd taken the hit?
I did not, I don't think.
Mate, this is the first week in 5 weeks I've not taken a hit, and every week when you do it, like even this week, you think that's absolute chaos. The average was like less than -1.
Yeah.
So less than 25% of people took a hit.
It's probably just people trying to take hits.
So you started 7 points down effectively on everyone.
I did okay.
It's not a bad result in the end, really.
I did okay. So yeah, Pope, just cheers. Shaw had an interesting game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got Cancelo and Trippier like everyone else. Zaha, the fixtures. I said it last week, said it the week before. I just couldn't move on him because of the fixtures. Saka, fine. De Bruyne, was nice to get that extra point out of him with Haaland doing the old Aguero celebration at the end there. Which was I was
raging about that. Raging.
Every point matters.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it just makes no sense. And then Trossard, who was one of my transfers in, Haaland, Wilson, Solanke again. Like he's just been a dream since he's the highlight of my wildcard 9. Like he's literally the highlight. Is Solanke? What a man! But yeah, no, I went Salah, Foden, and Mitrovic out to Trossard, Wilson, and De Bruyne for a net negative like 11 points. Like took a -8 and ended up basically -11. Just
good times, mate.
Disaster.
Good disaster.
Yeah. So that's me. That's me. So, any good scores in the chat? So,
Oh, mate, there's 80s. We've got
Panther
people with Captain
61.
Salah. Yeah, I
Who
saw
else?
I saw an 84, 86 for FPL Soccer Crazy. Unreal. Like,
Hate you.
there's some hate you. Absolutely hate you. But love you really. Thanks for turning up.
Yeah, exactly. Ben
Let's
Martin,
go
78.
We're going to run out of time. It's 20 minutes now. We better talk about some games.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's talk about some games. Where are we going? Better go here. City.
Let's start with them.
Well, like, what do you want to say? What do you want to say about City other than they are a ridiculous football team? Because I don't think I've ever seen a game in the past where, like, just look at the goal. Look at when the goal goes in for Fulham.
There's nothing else, is
There's
there?
nothing else beyond that. There's a couple of little
10
steps.
10 men.
10 men.
Against a team that go at it.
Yeah, they're an aggressive team, Fulham. I mean, Mitrovic obviously not being there helped. There's no, I mean, mate, you talk about blunt strikers, Carlos Vinicius, like we had him for like 6 months. Terrible.
Bad, mate.
So.
Andreas took the penalty over Willian. I was quite surprised at that. I thought Willian might take that, but I don't reckon Mitrovic plays next week, do you?
No, I don't think he does. I've got the sense that it's just a kind of intentional thing for the World Cup.
Yeah, he's off. He's off, and he's the World Cup. There was
someone even mentioned that he was in Serbia or something.
Yeah, there was a tweet. There was a tweet about 11 o'clock. Yeah, it was a tweet about 11 o'clock saying he'd already gone back to Serbia, and everyone just ignored it because it was like we were all just mad panicked on City. Didn't see that at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's true.
Yeah.
I guess from their perspective, it was games against the Manchester teams. They probably weren't that bothered, were they? I don't know. Maybe they were.
Well, this one certainly, you know, from a board level perspective, you wouldn't go in and go, oh yeah, I'm going to rock up to the Etihad and get 3 points. Like on the season plan, this is a loss. So yeah, it's one of those, probably.
Do they fully function without that Haaland though? Like, what's the total XG for him? Yesterday? I know it's 10 men, so you can't really see it.
1.25.
Yeah, but it includes a penalty.
Yeah, 1.25. I'll get there. 1.25 non-penalty.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell, isn't it? Because of that, there is
10 men.
There is 10 men. There is 10 men.
Yeah, you can't really judge it, can you, on that basis?
But they didn't create big chances. Even though they've kept the ball, they did not create big chances. Like they didn't do it. They just know their quality at some point is going to do what it does.
It would just be like a training exercise, wouldn't it? At that point, like it's 10 men. We'll get an opportunity at some point. And you know the Haaland goal that was ruled out is obviously not part of the XG here. I mean, it wouldn't have been huge, but you know it's not part of it.
What do we think Foden's done? Anyone got a guess there for? Because he's done something, isn't he?
He has definitely done something.
It's not sickness.
The 2 benchings, I kind of was like, yeah, it could be fatigue, but 3, that's definitely some kind of disciplinary issue, isn't it?
That's something done there.
Yeah, no
100%.
idea.
And also because Pep was so shirty in the press conference about him being benched. That question about how come he'd been benched so much recently. Pep was all like, "Oh, everyone gets benched." He
started 12 games in a row. That's why 12 league games in a row. So
it doesn't add up, does it?
No.
Where are they going to go? Like next week on the league, where are you prepping to go if you got Foden? Zaha, Forest, probably back again if you haven't got him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, potentially.
Kulu, people might.
Well, yeah. When it comes to 1 week punts, I like Kulu as a punt.
Oh, mate, that is. And what do they do? What do you do if you brought Alvarez in? Well, you'll see if you got the leak or not. But if not, it's there. He's not for me. Probably Alvarez in that sense. I know he walked away with the points there, but
I mean, I assume if you bought Alvarez and you knew that it was a 1 week punt that you'd have to do something with.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have got money that they would move him or not.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if he starts, you're playing him, in you. So you just again, you've got to have that thing this week where you're going to have to be like, well, if I get this league, then I keep an Alvarez because if he starts, I'm going to do that. Oh
the
God,
fucking flow charts are coming out again.
Flow charts are going to be in effect this week. Mitro, I think, should be in everyone's plans for what you can do.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed, yeah.
Not much else to
Where'd
say
you-
here. So we go to today.
Yeah. That's Lucy. What did you think of Tottenham Liverpool?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Well, let's talk about Trent's challenge and whether that was any different to Cancelo's challenge that had got him sent off. Any thoughts on that, lads?
Fucking disgrace. Anyone else in the chat want to disagree with that one?
We had two today, right? That are like, I don't really like pushes being penalties. I don't really like them. They're a bit ugh. But when there's no attempt to play the ball, so Party today on Thiago just decides I'm going to two hand. You've got the header. I'm going to put two hands in your chest and push you so you can't header through the ball. And then Trent's done that today, and they're just penalties. But they're annoying penalties, but they are penalties. And you're like, and we've seen them. If nobody was getting them for the crappy little pushes, you're like, I'm cool with it. But when you like 5 minutes later give the free kick, and when you've given Cancelo a red card for it, you're like, well, it's a penalty or it's not a penalty. Like, which one is it?
It's the lack of consistency that annoys people, isn't it? It's not the like decisions in themselves, as you said. Like no one really likes the fact that a bit of contact often means penalty, but if it means a penalty in some games, it has to be a penalty in every game. Like you can't just have that inconsistency all over the place. And it seems that VAR isn't helping with consistency either. Like,
of course they don't.
They just follow the rhythm of the game if they want.
Yeah, and they follow whatever the ref says. So ref gives it. Then we're going with it. If you don't give it, we're not going to go against a shove. So those two today, ref doesn't give the shove. It's an error. It's like, do you think they had that conversation with him? Did you see that he pushed him? Yeah, I did. Oh, do you want to come look at it? Nah, I just pushed him. And then can you imagine when he gives the free kick? They tell him, "Didn't you just give a free kick for pushing?" Yeah. But it's outside the box, mate.
Outside the box, so it's different. No, the threshold's lower. What?
Ridiculous.
I hate it.
Ridiculous.
I hate it.
I mean, I thought Spurs were good in the second half, like particularly.
I don't think
always good in the second half, but
yeah, this is probably the chart probably doesn't do it justice. I mean, well, does the tilt? I can't even remember if the tilt does it justice. Probably does.
Yeah. I think that's how I have it.
Definitely does. We were definitely a lot stronger, and there was an instant. You could see the instant impact when Kulusevski came on.
Yeah,
just felt like the passing was more purposeful. Like not even just like the instant in when we scored that goal, but even in moments after that. Yeah, the passing forward was more purposeful, and you
had more movement as well, didn't you?
Exactly.
It is what it should be though, because they went in again with no midfield. Like if Liverpool keep going into games without no midfield, then they're going to get bullied, and they got bullied. Like Tottenham don't bully anybody. You just have to put any old midfielders in centre midfield, and they'll bully Tottenham, and we won't get any possession. Teams like Forest and stuff like that, and Bournemouth have done that to us. But like, Liverpool going with a 2 in midfield, and they're just going to, because Harvey Elliott doesn't count, and they got bullied for it. It was a bit silly, really, from Klopp type things, but they get away with it because Dyer decides to do something stupid. It's a brilliant finish still from Mo, but he's always got that in his locker. He just loves those little dinks. He's so good at them.
Yeah.
2 really good finish from Mo.
Yeah.
Really good finishes.
I saw a tweet from I had a bit of interaction with him anyway from FPL Fraser about he said something about playing more centrally and picking up. He was always going to start to catch up towards his XG, etc. And I was like, yeah, mate, but XG doesn't account for dickheads heading it against his own shoulder and putting players through 1-on-1. You can't quantify that level of incompetence, to be honest. So,
what about Darwin? Because people are going to look at Darwin for 16. There seems to be a lot of people, a lot of money floating around from the move they've done.
I think I'll be going for Darwin. I think I'll be going Mitrovic to Darwin, probably.
I felt he was more. Well, I mean, I know the second half was completely different, but that first 5 or 6 minutes, I thought, he felt hungry for it. Then he became a little bit more unselfish, which was probably the right decision in terms of the goal. And then there was one a little bit later on as well. I think he's a good move for 16.
He got 2 bonus with an assist today,
which is a lot.
Have you ever seen a striker get 2 bonus without an assist, other than maybe a Gabriel Jesus maybe at some point?
What did he get up to then? What did he finish on?
24.
24. So he gets what? 9 for the assist. 15. So he had a
He
baseline of 15.
made his 30 passes. He made his 30 passes.
Christ.
It's so rare. Like, everyone thinks he's so selfish and does what he does, but he made his 30 passes. Just by one, he got 25 out of 30 passes, which made him 80.6, which got him a little bit of bonus. So his last pass, which I think was in like the left back area, he was mucking about with Robertson. They were trying to keep the ball a bit before he went off. But that's really unusual for a forward to get some bonus on with just an assist. Yeah. Look, I think when you watch Darwin, he looks like a really, really bad player, but a really good FPL asset, a really good physical specimen, in
He's
terms
just really
of how he
raw,
plays.
isn't he?
But his attitude is perfect. His attitude is perfect throughout the game. And if you said to me, like, let's just take Eric Dyer for an example. Eric Dyer for 85 minutes of that was technically brilliant, but he's lost the game. Like, so being technically brilliant is pointless if you're going to just do stupid things. I'd much rather have a person that's really, 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 really hungry and physically got the stuff. And Darwin for that is good. But I think you just have to accept that he'll do some really stupid stuff. Like, there was a run down the wing and he just needed to play across to Salah, and they were in early on and he just didn't bother. But yeah. Is it worth going to Darwin as opposed to trying to find a way to get Salah back if you've taken him out?
This is one of those where I said last week that I felt like you'd been mature by looking at going Saka, Foden, Saka, Foden. I don't know. I don't know with this one, to be honest. I don't know whether I'm one of those people that would go, I've sold Salah now, so I'm going to stick with that, because you probably have to hit to get him back in again. So I would probably just, if you're in that place, I would probably just go with Darwin.
Yeah, and I think I will. I think that's I think he's a great option for those sorts of it. I'm not saying that he's not a bad player, but he is a bad footballer. Like, he's not good at the football game of it. He's good at the everything else part of it that makes you go, and he just gets chance. He had 3 chances in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If he does that against Southampton, how does that work out, Lucy?
Badly for Southampton. Very well for him, though, I would imagine. Yeah, I think if anyone saw our game, like, just the state of our defending, really rash, like brainless defending, where we just rush into tackles, miss the ball, and get chopped right open. Like, if we do anything like that against Liverpool, it doesn't really matter if they have a midfield or they look a bit weak around the edges. Like, we will get smashed. I don't know whether we'll have a different manager by that point, but yeah, there's good reason why I think Darwin's a good pick for next week, and it's mainly Southampton Football Club, really.
Should we go on to that game?
Yeah, all right then.
Well, we're just ripping the Band-Aid off, and then we can have the fun chat about the other.
Look at you, brilliant! 1.79 XG compared to 0.8 at Newcastle. You must have smashed them.
No, we did create a lot of really good chances, but the problem is we can't actually shoot, so it's fairly irrelevant, really. We kind of knew that we needed a new striker in the summer, didn't buy one, tried it like on deadline day, still didn't buy one, and it's kind of coming home to roost now. Poor Adams, I really like him as a footballer, but he isn't like a goal scoring number 9. Like, he needs someone around him. That's why he looked really good when Danny Ings was around, because he kind of helped sew everything together. But yeah, now we just look really bereft of anything. And when you defend as badly as we did, then the opposition don't need high XG, because you just fall over on the floor, and it's that easy, really. So I think the manager will be gone soon, and it's just going to be a rebuild over the World Cup break, I think.
Is that big chance there? Is that El Yunusi right before half time?
I think so, yeah.
I can't remember if he touched the ball or not. I was wondering if it was.
I think he got right on the end of it, but it was just miles wide.
Yeah.
It was when Trippier looked like he was going to go off with that hamstring injury, because he stretched for it.
That's the thing on Trippier, though, isn't it? Because look at it. The one time Trippier sort of struggled, he lets him in, and then when Trippier goes off, like, the second he's not there, their defence just falls apart down that side.
Yeah. I mean, there's no coincidence that we scored from down that side because Manquillo is a long way off Trippier in terms of quality. Yeah.
Yeah, when you look at it, they've got 1.8 XG on there, and about 1.6 of it is all chances from that left-hand side when Trippier wasn't able to play, either done himself in or went off the field. Sean Longstaff's just not really cutting it as the right midfielder. Surprise.
Do we think Trippier will play next week?
Yeah, mate, he's fine.
But I just think, just again, on World Cup watch, I mean, if you're thinking...
We've got no fullbacks left, don't let him go.
Well, we've got loads of fullbacks, but...
He is captain. He every time I've watched Trippier this season, he's managed himself so well. He is managing his body brilliantly. Like Harry Kane, we watch it with him all the time, and you're like, he can just manage it. You just think, how does he keep getting knocks? How does he keep doing it? I had not a single thought in my mind was that he was coming off at halftime. You know, the timeline wants the drama, and it says everyone's going, oh my God, Trippier's coming off. And you're like, mate, he's 100% owned. Like, what are you talking about?
Why do you care? Yeah.
Like, nobody cares. Like, that makes no difference whatsoever. But everyone wants the drama. But I just knew he'd come back out because he's done. I've seen him do it so many times this season where he's just managing, sprints when he has to. He had dodgy hamstrings when he was at Tottenham and rarely could play midweek games with us. We used to play Aurier midweek often when he was there. He just manages it. He's a class act. He's been player of the season for me.
I think what's really made the difference for them is kind of like his leadership and kind of like there's a real sense of a character coming through there that like wants to help them manage the game and like kind of keeps a steady head when things aren't necessarily going their way. Like I think he's been massive for them in that point of view as well.
Yeah, it gives them so much confidence. It just feels like that time away at Atletico. It's like he's come back and it's been like,
he just developed a winner's mentality, didn't he? Though he developed that,
definitely.
You developed not only the winner's mentality by actually winning a trophy, but being under the tutelage of Simeone and just from a sort of a discipline and, as you say, leadership point of view, it's just perfect for him to come back into the Premier League and do what he's doing now, to be honest.
Callum, I think he'll be fine next week.
Yeah, Hal said it was basically related to his cold, didn't he? So I think he'll be fine next week.
Sky,
it was a frustrating -4. That was
Sky watching that game. Sky were good on the cameras. They somehow managed to catch him as he was talking to one of the guys, and he had a snood on, and he pulled it down to tell the guy, and he said something like, bit chesty, and sort of tapped his chest and then put it back up. I was like, magnificent camera work. All the lip readers straight on the timeline. Bit chesty. Miggy just doesn't stop. Didn't even think for a minute he was going to miss. Looked like
it did help when Maitland-Niles just fell at his feet. Somehow missed him and the ball.
It was slightly comical.
Yeah, I don't even know how he did it. Like, I thought he'd give away a penalty at least.
It's funny because I watched the replay on my phone. I wasn't watching the game, but I was watching the replay on my phone, and I was watching it, and it wasn't coming through in the best quality. I think I was watching it on one of those Twitter video things that fires the goal through, and I was like, "How has he even still got the ball?" Because I'm sure there's been a slide tackle there or something, and it doesn't look like he's actually touched the ball again. But I didn't even really see what happened. I had to wait until I got home to see it. But yeah.
You can't play lineups like that, though. So you can't play lineups like that against Liverpool. Like, you can't go in with Maitland-Niles and Ward-Prowse as midfield too, and playing Adams and Walcott and El Yunusi and Armstrong. Like, you can't do that crap.
I mean, yeah, Walcott. Don't even get me started on that one. I think it'll be Maitland-Niles at right back because we've run out of full back, so that'll solve that one. Lavia's back, so I expect we'll go back to the Lavia Ward-Prowse midfield that we had before. Maybe you might put another one in there, but we don't really have a lot of central midfielders. So that's another thing that makes me think Liverpool will do well because I don't think we'll do enough to kind of seize possession from them. So I think they'll dominate.
Yeah, that was the big thing from Tottenham was that Bentancur and Højbjerg were able to just bully Thiago so that then you can get the ball. But that midfield won't hold Thiago. And then it's like, everyone this week was just like, how can you get triple City? Is everyone this week going to be like, how can we get triple?
Like, I guess we could score. Like, we are creating chances, admittedly, like not scoring them. But what I mean is Liverpool haven't looked great defensively, have they? So, like,
no.
I probably wouldn't be bothering with a defender unless I already had one. Like, it's their attack you want, I think, next week. And are you going to triple up on them? Probably not. It'll be double up, won't
How brave would you have to be to -4 Kevin De Bruyne to Salah and cap him this week?
it? Are you asking for a friend or?
Well, I don't know about you, but do you not think even though like Salah scored 15 points today, it didn't hurt that much? It only started to hurt a little bit when Kane scored as well.
Yeah. I still had a green arrow when Salah scored.
And I'm like, loads of people are going to have to get Haaland back. Loads of people have got other issues. Mitrovic going to be an issue for a lot of people. We've got Dallo who's out. We've got, who knows, Wilson, Miggy, all those type of players. We just don't know. We're going to have a couple of Carabao Cup injuries and stuff. Things like that will happen.
Christ, what if Foden goes out? What if Foden plays in the Carabao Cup?
He's going to play. Of course, he's going to play 90 minutes in the Carabao.
I think you have to guess that he will. Yeah.
Yeah, of course he will.
It's not a coincidence anymore, is it, that he keeps playing midweek?
Potentially, Salah cap next week is potentially the best opportunity of the entire season.
Well, it's current ownership, it is, isn't it, really? Because, I mean, I kind of had got out of this habit of celebrating Salah goals because the old days, everyone had him, so it wasn't really a big deal. And I completely underestimated how much of a differential he was this week. So 30%. When I looked at live FPL, I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Are we really considering a Salah cap when Haaland's at home to Brentford?
I'm not. I will be captaining Haaland.
They tried to get there. Look, Newcastle, good team. We'll be having them a lot post World Cup.
Yeah, I think everyone will be tripled up, won't they, after the World
Cup wild card, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, just dominated the game. We're going to Leeds next.
Leeds, it's
fantastic.
It's only fair it does. It's only fair we do.
I didn't take off the tilt first, but let's see. There's the XG.
They make games fun, Leeds.
They do.
It's just
and what I love about them that's so refreshing is that loads of teams 3-1 down would have probably just sort of played it out, like gone through the motions, but they just throw everything at it, don't they? I think it's really refreshing from that perspective.
I mean, there's a wonderful piece from there's a wonderful video. I think I mentioned it last week, perhaps, from Tifo that did, game state XG for Leeds, because Leeds' numbers are quite good, but you'd be forgiven for thinking that they should be higher up in the table at the time when the video was recorded, but actually when they were level with teams prior to this week, they were 17th. That's with their XG state, as a game state, they were 17th amongst everybody else. When they go one ahead, they're ruthless. They're absolutely ruthless. Plus 1.19 XG difference.
Didn't they go from 1-0 ahead to 3-1 down in this one?
They did.
Yeah,
they actually did.
Ruthless.
Ruthless. They're even more threatening when they go down by 2.
The next magic number.
Next magic number.
It's the obvious one to go to, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So, yeah, -2 plus 1.7, which is probably even higher now, given what happened here, because they were at less than 1, and then just went nuts.
The beauty of that stat's been able to get to that point to create a stat in the first place that gets you to that. So you've got to go down by 2 to be able to then create a stat where you again are then up by 1.7 once you go 2 behind. Like that in itself just tells you they're always going to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're considering, or there was rumours about Marsh going, because when you look at some of these players, a lot of them have played for Marsh or know Marsh from the Leipzig, Red Bull days and all those type of things. And some of it will somehow just has a way of scoring at the end. He could just be some kind of just magician of a player. But loads of them, Rocker, Adams, Greenwood, great goal from Greenwood, all those type of things, you're like, they're just good fun. The league's better off with them. They can't.
Definitely.
Must be a bit sore for Bournemouth, given that they have once again, failed to win a game when they were up. So
by 2.
By 2, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, makes it worse. But Big Dom comes in,
Good finish.
gives me the points. Great finish.
Great finish.
Great
Billing
finish.
had a great finish in that game too.
He did. I briefly considered Tavernier about 4 weeks ago. Whenever it was, there was a point where I was watching him on that left wing and thinking, cheap option, could do it.
It's not happening, mate.
How much is he?
5.4, maybe even less than that.
It's not happening.
Right.
He's like the same price as Miggy.
Shh.
Oh, Mickey's now a gazillion pounds after the rises.
I say Miggy's gonna be 6 by the time 6.5 by the time we get to. Well, what is he now?
I took a bigger hit off Miggy than I did off a Salah brace today.
Yeah, that's how nuts it is.
Yeah,
that's the game we're
Welcome
working
to the
in.
Game.
When Pope's clean sheet went today, it meant that Chris Wood got an extra 3 on his baseline bonus for scoring the winning goal, because it then jumps to the second goal, which then meant that Miggy dropped a point, which meant I didn't lose by Pope losing his clean sheet.
Incredible.
So Miggy went from 1 bonus point to no bonus points because Chris Wood went up, which meant that even though I lost the 3 points from Pope, I didn't go down. That's ridiculous.
That's nuts. Although comforting, because I'm also a Pope owner that didn't have Miggy. So
there you go. Someone just said 5.7 in the chat, mate. It's still Miggy. Whatever happens, it's still Miggy. We've done them. We're getting whinged at to do the boring teams, the boring game today.
This one.
You can't even see Chelsea because of Gabriel's big head. That's how bad they were.
Let me move him out of the way there. There you go.
They were awful. Genuinely awful. Like, I appreciate that, Potter's got fairly sophisticated tactics that are going to take a long time, and in a rebuild you need to be patient. But I was honestly shocked at how bad they were. Like, they were getting pinned back in their own half so easily. It was unreal.
That's the worst performance of the season.
By
any team.
Direct result.
By any team.
Wow.
By any team.
Oh, we haven't lost 9-0 this season though.
In relation to what you are, the monies you've got, what you've got, to go home, that's just such a change for Chelsea. Like, all week I've just thought, well, Chelsea turn up in big games. Like, that front three, and even more particularly, Aubameyang and Havertz just stand there. They're so when we talked about earlier about Darwin and the amount of running he did, the amount of pressure he did, even at the end, he came off, but even at the end, he was working so hard in that left back area because he had the height and we were pinging loads of crossfield balls. And then you look at what Aubameyang and Havertz were doing, they were just so lazy. I
think Aubameyang had 4 touches in the first half.
Disgusting. As the gall to go out with the big old video. He got me. He did the big old video thing of I'm coming back, I'm coming for you type thing. And I got all visions of the Adebayor goal and the celebration was going to happen. And then Arsenal just came out and absolutely dicked on them, as if to say, look, we're the big dogs now. And they absolutely just way too good. Way too good.
If anything, I'm pissed off that Gabriel got a touch.
Well, would it have been? I couldn't work out whether Jesus would have got the assist. So Jesus
because he won the corner.
Jesus shoots, gets saved for a corner, then the corner goes straight in. And I was trying to work out in my brain.
I don't think, because didn't Douglas Luiz,
He did score. He did score.
He scored corner. And that didn't have an assist on it, did it?
That's what I couldn't. But I was like, well, if it's a clearance, fine. But when it's a save, does it continue?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a save. If it was a clearance, I get it. But because it was a save, I was like, and then it goes in. Because if it was,
so it's like he saved it and it's just landed on the corner's flag,
and then he
just
put
swung it straight into the.
So does it count as a rebound? And that's what I wasn't sure. So in my head, I was like,
an unanswered question. If
I
anyone
didn't
finds
know
out,
whether I wanted it to be a Gabriel goal or not, because there was less owners to get so much less owners of Gabriel that I was like, I think I'm okay for this to just be an assist.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And
we could ask official FPL what the position is on that, but
I don't know. If
I
anyone in
don't
the
think
chat,
they're ever going to
we've got
respond to us.
153 watching. If there's anybody that knows whether Jesus would have got the assist if it went straight in,
Did you say 153? There's only 45 likes on the video. Press the button.
outrageous.
Press the button.
Outrageous.
Oh yeah, polite. Yeah, sorry. That's why you got Lucy on, to be polite. Please press the button. We are terrible.
But other than that, they grounded.
Did it work? Did we get any?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
This is outrageous.
We'll keep trying.
Other than that, like the other thing is obviously the XG is just massively inflated because a man's booted it in on the goal line.
On the line, yeah, with no one in front of them.
But yeah,
what was the XG on that chance?
2.1. Well, it's
basically 0.85 or something like that.
How is it 0.85? Like, what else could he have done?
Like, I don't know. Let me look at I don't know who FootMob use, but FootMob have it as, where is it? 0.78.
That's a disgrace. Ridiculous.
It's 0.99 once it's on target. But 0.78 is the XG.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, he's literally less than half a yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, as I said, I think it should have been. I said earlier on, but it should have been a penalty on Thiago for me, and it's just like they don't want to give it because it's a shove.
We're gonna have to move on to another one because I need to nip out for a second. So who do you want to go to?
Where are we going?
Take your pick, quick.
West Ham Palace. Oh.
It's all yours.
Oh God! Now I've seen it. I'm not sure I want to go into it.
Well, I think a lot of people were predicting Palace to struggle because they're not really an away team, are they? I just expected a lot more from West Ham, who looked like they were rubbish. I didn't see any of the game really. Did you see any of it?
I did. I sort of had two games on. I had your game on the telly and this game on the iPad, and we're watching this. But both games, like, just once the weather come in, I mean, I'm all for you need to rain adjust XG because it just makes crap games, and this one was like it. The first half was all right. I thought that's quite a good game. First half, second half, just nothing happened.
And you can see it, can't you?
Just nothing happened. Like when you've got that, you're trying to watch two games, one on the TV, and you keep looking over and thinking, "Am I missing something here?" I'm not really, and I'm like, just nothing's happening. It was just.
Didn't you just a minute ago say that Chelsea have had the worst performance of the season?
Yeah.
And West Ham at home.
It's just the principle of the fact, like Chelsea are now 13 points behind Arsenal. Like that's a big number.
Big.
That's a big number. They really needed to turn up today, and they did not.
Yeah.
West Ham.
Skamaka was hauled at half time. I saw that.
Well, they're just better without him, but
yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Made no difference really because they still did nothing.
They almost got a penalty. That's about it.
You dive, mate. Like he literally just falls down, throws his whole back out.
I don't know whether you've mentioned it already, but Zaha points. I'm all for those.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm all for those.
I said early on about Ivan's daughter, but I have to thank Ivan for this one as well. Is that he messaged and said, because I was looking at Zaha out, and he was like, that Edouard's injured, and I was like, no, I did not. He's just a completely different player. He was that whole first half. He led the line, and then it means that Eze is just so much more free to run with the ball, which is exactly what you want. Yeah. They're completely wasted when Eze is just stuck in centre midfield.
It's really strange, isn't it? Because Vieira talked up Zaha as like a centre forward loads in pre-season and stuff at the beginning of the season, and then he's hardly used him there. And I don't really get it because, as you said, it seems to make them a much more fluid attacking force. But
so much better. Elise's class, Eze's class, Zaha top class. It's much more fun. Yeah. Io was some kind of thug. He just kept hitting people, got away with it. But yeah, play the fun guys. Even then, fun guys, as I said, equaled 0.99 XG for the entire game. Like that tilt chart it's not really fully, doesn't ever reach the part where it says they're actually threatening. It's just like it's troubled them a little bit.
There are some worse games than this on the tilt chart from what I've seen as well. So,
move
on from there.
Moving on from these guys.
You're keeping Zaha. If you haven't got him and Edouard is out, but even if he's not, Edouard likely say he comes back, and I'm not sure. I don't even know.
Do you know
who's
what the
in
injury
Carabao.
was?
Does anyone knows? I don't know. It was a knock. It was a knock in training. Does anyone even know who's playing the Carabao this week? We should have known this, shouldn't we?
Southampton has got Sheffield Wednesday. I thought you'd
Who
like to know
have we got? We got a Premier League
Forest?
team.
I want to say we've got Forest.
We got a Premier League team, surely. That sounds very much like. Bournemouth are playing Everton. Leicester have got Newport County.
Newcastle Palace. So Edouard and Mateta will probably end up playing in that game.
We have got Forest, you're right.
Yeah, I want to say we've got Forest.
Forest. Arsenal Brighton, West Ham Blackburn, Wolves Leeds.
Everyone's playing.
Liverpool Derby. City Chelsea.
Wolves Leeds, yeah. Liverpool Derby. So Liverpool are going to just rest everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Do you think Pep loves the Carabao, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does
4 out
love
of
the
5
Carabao.
seasons, isn't it?
Foden's playing, mate.
Foden
is playing.
Haaland? We'll see.
He'll be on the bench.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
What else we got?
We've got 52 minutes now, so let's go United. What do you want to tell people about this game? What do you enjoy most about this game?
Oh, I like both. I like a man that scored at both ends. 3 years I've been bothering Adam about this. I said to you, there's a really big phenomenon where someone who scores at one end scores at the other end. He was like, no. I was like, honestly, trust me. And I found that the Premier League were tracking it. And they had, in 2019, they had 46 people that had scored at both ends. And then the website is still on the Premier League website, has not updated to 2019. Gary Caldwell broke it, and it's never been updated since. It just sits there with 2019. It makes me really angry because it happens all the time. It's way past 50 now.
You need to start a Twitter campaign to get it updated.
I want that page updated.
You start betting on it. I mean, I'm not going to.
I don't want to
promote gambling, but
yeah, as soon as there's an own goal, I'm like, this is it. This is it.
Tenner on
it's happening.
Next goal scorer.
It's happening.
I did call Chris Wood as the next goal scorer in the Saints game. As soon as he came on, I was like, he's definitely scoring.
He's definitely scoring.
I can never pick when he scores.
I just feel like even today, Eric Dyer does that shit mistake and then immediately has like 3 chances. It's just unfortunately not very good, so he couldn't score them. There is something about that.
The spirit of it was there.
Spirit of it.
Back to this game.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Emery.
What is there to talk about in this game? Really though, again, look at it. It's raining. It's crappy. It's 1 XG between them. Man United are stinking games up. That's happening regularly. Whether there's lots of goals or not, they're not a particularly productive attacking team. And no Bruno.
Yeah, I did see a lot of people saying that no Bruno was having quite a big impact on them.
I don't think it's just no Bruno though. Like we took before, the team selection. This is his worst mistake in months. He's been doing a really good job, but if Bruno's out, captain, you either give Casemiro the armband and say you lead us, or you put Harry Maguire back in the team and say lead it. But you don't do either of those things. You say I'll bring back Ronaldo. Ronaldo, who whenever he comes in, we play worse. No, I'll stick him up and give him the armband. What's the point? And then I'll pay we did a Patreon pod, didn't we, Friday quickly, and we said, and you said, do you think they'll be all right? I said they'll be all right because you'll play Casemiro and Fred. You'll put Eriksen in the hole, and it'll free him up to do like a pass, like he did to Rashford last week. It'll make Rashford brilliant. Is that Eriksen will drift to the right, Rashford will come off the left. He doesn't. He puts Van der Beek in. He puts Garnacho, gives them another game. Puts Rashford on the right, who's been their best player. Plays Ronaldo as a waste of time, and rightly they got done over by exactly how we thought that Villa would turn up. 4-2-3-1. Again,
familiar formation that he'd deployed many times with Arsenal in particular in the Premier League. It was very much 4-4-2 before that, but as I say, the same pod we were talking on. You know, he has the squad to work on either of those formations.
If you look at the average player positions, it's very much a 2 up top. I know it's like 4-2, but Bailey and Watkins were really wide, and then it's like you could call that 4-4-2 again, like you'd call
Yeah,
out that
that's
he
what
was
I'd
doing.
heard a lot of people saying it was
Is that's kind. I mean, it's a really weird thing if you look on SofaScore average positions. There's like 7 players in a line, and then the centre backs. In fact, you can't have that many. 6. It's like 2 centre backs, 6 in a line, 2 forwards. Yeah, Luca Dean in January. We'll all be back on it.
That's inevitable, isn't it? In FPL?
Absolutely inevitable. Dallow's injured, suspended.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool because that means he comes straight in game week 17.
Perfect for anyone's got it. But if you've got him, I couldn't spend a transfer on defence, could you?
No, there's not really anything to go for next week. There's nothing that says, "Oh, pick that guy." So I definitely wouldn't bother with defence next week. Just put whatever you've got out.
Yeah.
Agreed. How many we got left? 2?
I can't remember.
Everton, Leicester. Oh no, we've got 3.
Oh,
Everton, Leicester.
God.
In fact, no, I'm going to go here first. Because Wolves always drag teams down. And I remember you saying this last week vividly.
Dragged
I dragged the game down and I looked at half time. I was like, 2-2. Okay.
I was traveling second.
I almost went searching for it to record
Yeah,
it and tweet
yeah.
it out.
I think I just said it, but I was in the car as that 5th goal went in, and I was thinking about the fact of I'd said Wolves just bring any team down to 1 XG and just do nothing. It's going to be an absolute dire game, and then all the fun happened.
I mean, Wolves had half an XG plus a penalty. They were still bad.
Yeah.
They were still bad.
But they did have 10 men.
They did have 10 men. Yeah, sorry, game state. They did have 10 men for a vast amount of that. But, I mean,
Did you think that was a red card? Did you think that was a red card?
No. Too wide for me.
That was the thing that did it for me. He wasn't going.
Just felt too wide. And when you start seeing the guy go like this, like that
Yeah,
really pisses me off. Like
Oh yeah,
Mitoma,
you should get an immediate booking for
I thought he was brilliant. By the way, Mitoma was excellent.
His
choice of passing was excellent. He was comfortable on the ball, dribbling and passing. Obviously, he scored his header. Like I thought he was absolutely excellent. But for me, just I'm not for that. I hate it.
I'm amazed he got the red card on. I'm sure he convinced him. He actually won it over because I was like, he's kicked it 10 yards past him. Salah come out and was just like, I'm taking this.
It's just a really but I think almost it is a red card because it's A, really stupid because he's so wide, and B, basically a rugby tackle.
Yeah,
he just took him round the middle and just hauled him to the ground. Maybe that should be a red.
Maybe it would, but I think it is almost, again, it's the thing that he was waving it. My immediate thought was like, I just don't want him to give this red here.
Yeah,
or he should be booked. One of those. So.
Maybe that's all Matoma was asking. Maybe Matoma was just saying, I think that's a booking, ref. And he just got it wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
Brighton again. Trossard. I mean, he had chances as well. He had chances as well. I mean, I think the assist was fine. I'm not disappointed with the move that I made. I thought it was the right move. And without Welbeck, he was more central. Just unlucky, probably. I don't know. I'm fine with him.
I think, you know the stat about like Trossard just doesn't score against shitters, as it was. But I think there is that part about space, because if you look at the chances that they had, if you take out the first one, so they got 1.6 XG in the first, but there's 0.6 of it's there. So against 10 men, they've managed about 0.8 XG, but it's what we talked about earlier this season, where they'd had about 80 shots for no goals. They can do that because they're just little bitty things. You can see it's like a staircase watching their XG charts.
I did enjoy Lallana completely debunking XG on Match of the Day last night. Like, I just don't. He said I just think it's complete rubbish, in the sense that he was saying that the fact that they weren't scoring goals but creating a lot of chances, he said, "No, that's nonsense." No, it's actually not nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
Not nonsense at all. And he thought they'd need 90 million to replace Danny Welbeck. A bit of a stretch.
I don't really think that's the case. But if you do take loads and loads and loads of little chances and you don't really, really break teams down and create big things, then you won't necessarily take advantage of it. But they are a good team.
I mean,
it's a similar thing to that Forest game, isn't it? Where they had loads and loads of chances and just didn't put it in the net.
Mm. But they still got there.
They got there in the end.
Hmm.
That's, I mean, like I say, in these kind of games, I guess that's my only worry is that actually, even with Trossard up front, it's not just Trossard that can hurt teams. You've got Pascal Gross, you've got Solly March, you've got Alexis McAllister, you've now got Mitoma. Like, you've got a lot of avenues
Adam
there where you
Lallana.
can score points. No, fuck that. You said to me he couldn't play. Old man Lallana is what you said.
I make a lot of calls, man.
This is true. You do. This is true. We
I only clip the ones I get right. But I make a lot of calls.
That's why I clip the ones you don't. Oh, so
are we done?
Yeah. Let's move on.
We done.
Everton Leicester. We still got 2 games. Not done.
This felt like last on Match of the Day, despite the fact that it was like at 5:30, like it was like, oh god, whatever's going to happen here. But Leicester, they were a joke. Like we just spent every week taking the piss out of Brodge.
We literally, yeah.
Danny Ward and Brodge will take the piss, and look at them.
I mean, fair play to them for sticking with Rodgers because I think most clubs would have binned him, wouldn't they? It's paid off from that perspective.
Yeah, I feel like we could be on one of those memes where, like Adam and Baker said Leicester games always start 1-1 and Brodge is shit. And you have him like there in the meme that says, and I took that personally type thing.
He's literally muddied us, isn't he? He's muddied our whole product.
Yeah. I'm going to merch that stuff as well. And then it's just all disappeared. I was like, yeah, this is a guaranteed both teams to score. And they've kept 5 clean sheets in 6.
Yep, that's correct.
And in the other game, they didn't score. Is that right? I'm sure that's 6 games without both teams scoring. I'm just checking.
Oh god!
I knew the 5 out of 6 stat. I don't know that one.
It's not true because they lost 2-1 to Bournemouth.
2-1 to Bournemouth. That's the only. Yeah.
Oh no.
Tottenham.
No.
Tottenham
the
broken basically.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the last 5 games, they've kept 4 clean sheets, and then the only other game, City beat them 1-0.
That's disgusting.
It hasn't been both. Like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is bad. This is terrible for an audio. 1, 2, 3, 4,
4 clean sheets, and they lost 1-0 to Man City.
Yeah, so 6 out of their last 7 games has been a both teams to score. No. Like before that, it was something like 4 in 12 months, maybe 3 in 12 months, something like that.
And we all dodged their defenders for good reason.
Yeah.
And
dickheads have been bringing in Ward or keeping Ward and bringing in Castagna.
Yeah, Castagna.
Raging. What are you doing for the last week with these guys? Nothing? Who have they got?
Nothing. But Maddison, mate.
If he doesn't go to the World Cup.
7 shots in the box or something. Completely.
Maddison's so good.
8 shots he had in total? Yeah, including quite a lot in the box, yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to a West Ham team that's just put up 0.2 XG in their own backyard.
Would you?
Jesus Christ, they're going to keep another clean sheet next week, aren't they?
I am sort of toying with playing Ward over Pope. Maybe.
Oh, it's disgusting. I've got Everson, so yeah, that's not an option.
Yeah, I thought I'd save the 0.1 as well.
Yeah, really pleased about that. Really pleased about that. We talked earlier about if Fulham was out, and we talked about maybe Kulusevski as an option. Zaha as an option if you haven't got him. Arsenal midfield is always an option. Maddison?
Yeah, I think it's an option. I probably wouldn't put him above Zaha.
21 points last 3 games, including Man City.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point.
We all sold him in game week 12. He scored 21 points since, including Man City.
I hate this game.
Hate him.
Yeah, I got rid of him then.
Love him. I absolutely love Maddison. That's the annoying part. He's such a good player.
Someone asked what Tielemans' XG was. 0.02, like every other goal he scores.
He doesn't do the high XG goal, does he? Well, he's never really near enough to the goal for that, is he?
No, it's funny. I said to Baker, like, Neves doesn't, and he was like, oh yeah, what about penalties? And then he scores another penalty this week, doesn't he? But fucking Neves. Yeah, we shouldn't have sold Maddison. We should never have bought Trossard in 12. We should never have. Who else?
I did all the same moves.
We should have bought Wilson. We shouldn't have sold Kevin De Bruyne. All that fun stuff.
Yep.
I don't think I'm doing anything with Everton and Leicester in the last game, even though Everton's game, who they got? Bournemouth? No.
Bournemouth, yeah.
Bournemouth. Oh.
You've already got Solanke, so you're sorted there.
Yeah, true. That's fine. Yeah, well said.
Fine.
Thank you. And then final game. pretty sure this is the final game. In the chat, if we've missed a game, please let us know, because I think we missed a game a few weeks ago completely.
Forest Brentford. Well,
I mean, like we left this till last. What else are we gonna take from it? Because Brentford are going to turn up with Tony next week, and they've got City. So, like, who cares?
but they're going to turn up with Tony or without Tony, do you think?
Oh God, yeah.
I'm not sure.
No
I'm not
idea.
sure. I'm not sure if Tony plays next week, if there's a betting investigation and all the rest of it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
It's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, but I think
And
the thing is, I think from an FPL point of view, most people have moved him on anyway, or if they haven't, they should have done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the big move, wasn't it?
Well,
The
yeah,
Tony
it's true. Yeah, a
Wilson
million
move of
people sold it.
700,000 people, or whatever, or
He's
million.
got to go.
Yeah,
he got to go.
Yeah, he's almost more of a priority than Mitrovic.
Yeah.
What? Even though Mitrovic is already 800 miles away from.
Well, I mean, I haven't actually had that confirmed.
Are you in the know? That sounded like you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very much in the know. Can you not tell from my server disaster?
What else do we take from this game?
Neko played 90 minutes. People might need him.
Good point. Yeah, got me that whole point off the bench, so that's brilliant.
Every point counts. Tony will be at Cheltenham.
Well, at the moment, it does. Yeah.
FPL Spartans. Tony will be at Cheltenham races next week. Brilliant. How many penalties should there have been in this game, do we think? Just talking football. There's no FPL talk here. Not for this game. Do you think it was a penalty? The Brentford one?
I don't like it. I don't like them.
I enjoyed the reaction.
But then I want penalties today that didn't happen, and I feel like no one knows what is a penalty and not anymore.
Like that one felt like less of a foul than, well, the one today, to be honest, the Trent one. Like, I can see how there's contact. I can see why it's penalty, but it just feels like really marginal. Like, I don't think that made a significant difference, but maybe it did. I felt like Whistle was already going down.
Henderson
didn't he touch the ball?
Henderson's constantly claiming that he touched the ball, and I think
he did touch the ball, didn't it? It looked like he flicked the ball first.
He was convinced he did. I don't actually know if he did. Like, it was almost like his acting convinced me that he did.
Yeah, maybe that is it. Maybe I don't know if he did or not, but it just looked like he did.
For me, though, yeah, exactly that. But if the keeper gets a hand on the ball, then surely it's a save or something else.
So it's already gone.
Says the ball's already gone. So how can you foul the guy afterwards? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, of course,
I think Henderson was quite lucky not to be sent off.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He talked himself into the book and then carried on, and I was like, just stop.
Yeah, I think if been there. Okay. So then,
if you need to play Neko, you can play him in the last game.
Yeah. Here are the games. In case you didn't know, there's no ticker because there's only one game.
Early game.
Do you want to go? Just going to go back to this one.
Not again.
Just next week.
So rules are: you get notifications on for team news and ticks. you put notifications on for Booner so that you know when Booner does it. And the old rule that you could check that Booner had 15,000 followers in the bin because he's got 21,000 followers because everyone thinks that he's in the know. What a man. I love him. And you do make sure you have the app. You have a sort of transfer planned.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get the flow charts out. Yeah.
And maybe do what you did and hedge in terms of what you think is going to be announced and what you might have to react to and have it ready to go, which I didn't do. So maybe that's where I went wrong.
I kind of did that, and then I wanted to make more transfers.
Yes, because once you see it, you're like, because I was like that. I was like, I could just see, annoyingly, what I should have done. I had the money. I could have just brought in Alvarez, but I was like, I didn't trust captain him. So I had the money in the bank. I could have just brought Alvarez in as a third forward, kept Salah, and I'd have been fine and not played Mitrovic. But I didn't know the Mitrovic was out. And I would have done that if I'd looked at them all. But you get yourself into a weird tunnel vision space. But we haven't got a choice now because the game's going to crash.
I'm just ignoring City. So they can do whatever they want, and I'll have just made my transfer anyway.
I've got Haaland, I've got De Bruyne, I've got Cancelo.
But will you?
I've got Haaland, I've got De Bruyne, I've got Cancelo. I don't need to do anything.
You say that, but let's
No,
just say
I'm saying that.
Let's say Haaland is out. So the best two assets for this game week, in my opinion, are Kane and Salah. By a long way. If Man City didn't play, the best two assets in this game week are Kane and Salah. Home to Leeds, home to Southampton, the premiums, and if any way we got a leak that said that De Bruyne or Haaland are not playing, that's the best two transfers you can make this week.
I've already got Salah, so that reduces it.
Yeah.
I maybe would do Haaland Kane. I don't think I would.
But
maybe
he'd
I
have to
would.
be injured, wouldn't he? Anyway, and then you'd know he's in the squad and
Yeah.
stuff. Because even if he's on the bench, you can't take Haaland out, can you?
No.
Well, that was why I didn't want to take him out this week. In particular,
But most people haven't got Salah or Kane. A lot of, and they're still there. So I still think we will all want to wait for the league. It's so annoying if you don't get your transfer through this week because then it's an unlimited transfer. It's not like, oh, I didn't get it through and now I get two into the next one.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to be pissed for 6 weeks.
I agree with what you said there. I mean, I tried to make I was almost ready with my transfers, and then I made one more, and then I hit the app. I hit the confirm button on the desktop, and it died. So I got into the app. My phone was the other side of the house. I was like running to go get my phone, and I had to press the button like 10 times to get it to confirm. It was like error, success. I was like, perfect. Now let's do the captain. Shit, error. Confirm, and I kept clicking it and nothing was happening. I clicked back and then refresh, and then suddenly it all changed.
I was talking to someone on this on the app, so it mostly returns 502s for the server problem, but occasionally will turn a 400, which is whatever it is. Anyway, it means it's worked, so you just need to go back and refresh your team. So if you do see a 400 come up, it's probably worked. You just need to go back and check it. Cool. I didn't know that, so I couldn't do any of the moves thereafter. But
what a world!
Yeah,
what a world!
That will mean you've done it, so you can go back and have a look. But yeah, I was just spamming it, kissing error after error, and I only saw 502s or 400, so that's presumably why my transfer went through and didn't confirm, was because it was a 400.
Fair enough.
So silly.
You shouldn't have to know all this stuff. Anyone have any questions in the chat?
If someone comes in immediately with, "What's the best app to you?"
Would you look at a 1 week punt on Bruno? Fresh, Fulham?
No.
Okay, cool. Is Haaland going to start? Yeah, who knows.
See, imagine he plays. This is the thing. We're all saying we're okay now.
Plays 90.
Yeah, if he plays 90 in the cup,
plays 120. Or was it straight to pens?
Straight to pens. But I don't think it matters. I think he just plays anyway because he's got a month of rest.
Yeah, that's the thing. For most of these players, I think about the World Cup, but he's not, is he? So
no.
I at the moment, I'm guessing he plays.
Simon Walker does have Kane and Salah. He does have Cancelo. He does have Haaland. He does have everyone. I think we were talking about the other day.
There was a few people I mentioned about no change in the cap. The other thing I did notice, some people got the transfers through, but didn't get the cap change through.
Yeah, that was the reason I changed, because I was convinced I wouldn't be able to move the captaincy.
So setting up for the right captain is weird, but so like our friend Praz.
Oh, that was tragic.
Because he thought he was going to get Haaland in, that was his plan. So he put it on Mitrovic because his plan was to go Mitrovic to Haaland. And then he didn't get the Haaland transfer. He wasn't then going to do the Haaland transfer. He was going to do, I think, Zaha to KDB. Actually, he was all right in the end. I think he was going to do. And then transfer the captain over. Didn't get to do it. And then got stuck with a Mitrovic captain and
Cancelo vice.
So I think I think everybody has to have their captain on a player they've already got in their team that they're happy to captain.
Yeah.
Cool. So best 1 week punt midfielder for 6.4 million.
It's always going to be Miggy.
Yeah.
And if it's not, it probably is still Trossard.
Best under 5 million goalkeeper.
This week.
Gaeta? maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Danny Ward.
Sanchez maybe.
Who did Leicester have again this week?
They've
West
got-
Ham away. Danny Ward.
Oh God,
Danny
Danny
Ward.
Danny Ward.
Yeah, Danny Ward.
Play Andreas this week. Yes.
Brought in Rashford and now want to knee jerk him out for Maddison or Kulusevski. I like Kulu. I like Kulu just because
I think both those are good options.
they're good. No, they're both good options. Agreed. But I like.
I mean,
Kulu
I'm not
against-
sure I would be getting rid of Rashford though. I mean, it's Fulham. It's not that bad, is it? I mean, I envy that person if Rashford to
Yeah,
one of those
you
is
cannot get
them.
rid of anyone against Fulham.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Like most teams, I would think, have got a higher priority.
I'm trying just to answer their questions. I'm trying not to.
Okay,
judge them.
sorry. Yeah. Go for what were the options again?
Maddison or Kulu.
Maddison.
Fair enough. But I agree with you. To be fair, Wilson to Darwin. Yes.
Yes, I will probably do it
100%.
myself.
Is Cancelo not suspended? No, he will be suspended for the Carabao Cup game.
Correct.
Perisic 1 week. Punt. Don't hate it.
Don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it.
Will prices be fixed over the World Cup period? Yes. Our understanding is it is. I think Oscar, FPL Focal, asked official FPL and they said they would be. So
He did.
There we go.
Yeah, we're basically going back to like a pre-season phase, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah. Cool. That's probably the best way to describe it. Actually, no one's said it like that. But yeah, we'll go back to a pre-season phase. I like it. If the Darwin becomes the content creator's thumbnail this week, then avoid him. Well, you don't have to avoid us. You don't have to avoid him based on us because, and we're going to go silent for a sec. This is our thumbnail.
Does that mean you get rid of Haaland?
Yeah, no. Couple more questions because we're already at 1 hour and 20. So, would you rather do Alvarez and KDB to Haaland, captain, and Rashford for a -4, or Alvarez to Darwin for free and Salah cap, but no Haaland?
Oh God.
That second one.
Do you not think there's going to be some big old swings this weekend, next week?
Oh yeah, huge.
Yeah, we're going to have like an end of season type.
You know, like end of season where there's just goals everywhere. It's complete
Don't give a
madness
shit,
and
yeah.
all sorts.
Especially
Of
And
stuff.
also just
defenders.
random benchings because some players just don't fancy playing for the World Cup and don't want a chance to get an injury, so they just don't turn up.
And then one more.
Question for Lucy: you have Mitro and Wilson.
Correct.
Are you ditching them both?
Well,
Why'd you ditch
that's true,
Wilson?
actually. Yeah, I said I was getting rid of Wilson. I'm not getting rid of Wilson. That's a lie.
No.
I'm keeping Wilson and I'm getting rid of Mitrovic with Darwin. Sorry, I just got excited about the idea of getting rid of Wilson. No, I have got Wilson and I'm sticking with him. And
you expect Chris would start anyway midweek because it's Carabao, so it's not really a big issue.
Yeah, and it was only a cold, wasn't it, for Wilson? So he should be fine. But I would still do Wilson to Darwin if that's not if people are considering that, even though I'm not doing that.
I've already answered that question. Last one then. Foden to Elise, Mitrovic to Darwin.
They're getting fun now. For -4?
For a minus, I don't know. Dreaming FPL, you got the last question. Is it for a -4? If it's 2 free transfers, yeah, I'm all over that. If it's for a -4, I still don't mind it.
I do get the feeling that Darwin scored a hat-trick this week. It's just something about it that says that if he did score one of those goals early today, that he would have just
Uruguay at the World Cup.
scored another. Portuguese, isn't he?
He's Uruguayan, isn't he?
Uruguayan? Have we made this up?
So who are we talking about here?
We're the
Darwin
world's
Núñez.
worst people.
Núñez is Uruguayan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why do I think he's Uruguayan? Of course he's Uruguayan.
Are they at the World Cup?
Are they in the World Cup?
2 free
Okay.
transfers. Yeah.
We are the best.
Worst.
Worst.
See, Tom would know this, wouldn't he, Lucy?
Came for Portugal, didn't he? Yes, yes,
Yeah, he
yes
would,
they
yeah,
are. South Korea on 24th of November.
Okay, cool. So,
Sorry, what was the question? Why is that relevant?
I don't know, but Foden. Oh, Baker said he was going to score a hat trick, and
He's got a hat trick.
I don't know. Foden to Elise, Mitrovic to Darwin, 2 free transfers. Yes. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Oh, I presume Eze's out of reach because I prefer Eze, but he's 0.3 more. If if you have that 0.3.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go. Excellent. Right, guys. Well, let's go back to this screen. There we go. Cool. Well, that's it. That's it for another week. We've Lucy. Thank you very much for coming on this evening. Really enjoyed this chat.
Thanks for having me on.
It's been
Yeah,
good.
1
great.
week. 1 week to go.
1 week to go. So, guys in the YouTube chat, thank you for all your questions. Thank you for getting involved. As always, hope you've had a half decent week this week. We've all had red arrows. Hope you've had some green ones, and we will we will speak to you next time. See you later.
When you pod in this week, Lucy?
Go on.
Oh yeah, we will be recording tomorrow night, so we'll be out on Tuesday morning if you want to tune in. Thanks for the plug. I'm not very good at plugs. Thanks for doing that for me.
And a final plug because I haven't done it. The guy that supports our podcast is Crypto Block Dan. He was in the chat earlier. He's on Twitter at Crypto Block Dan. Go check him out if you're interested.
I'm not speaking to him. He's got Gabrielle Hall and all sorts of points.
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, and then moaned about selling Zaha. So, oh well. Can't have them all. Right.
We love you, Dan.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.